Hello and welcome to my reading. Um, so I just pulled a few cards and one flipped out right away was the Shaman. And this is a Shaman deck. And it is represented by an eagle and it's divine wisdom and spiritual power. And so I felt like I needed to do this reading based on that being the main card. And then what was at the bottom of the deck is the moon in reverse. Imagination and perception, with it being in the reverse, quite possibly meaning that, I don't know if these will stay. No, meaning that not left to the imagination, like a solid and concrete type knowing. So I ended up doing like a 3 that was basically kind of the who, where, and what sort of. I got some like current to past. They're kind of like blockage, influences. Stuff has been away sort of row. And then I got the conclusion, final outcome, which I probably will pull some more Thoth on these. And I may also pull from the Empath's Oracle and the Starseed Oracle with this. Those are the ones I felt to pull out. And so we will see. I'm actually just kind of going, like a lot of times I study, since I am, I have to bear with me, I'm a beginner and very part-time reader. So oftentimes I'll actually do one and then make notes on it and then turn into a video. So bear with me, it might be kind of long. What I'm going to do is just read out of the book and then see if there are any kind of messages or keywords out of this actual Spirit Song Tarot book by Paulina Faye. So the Shaman is the eagle, means divine wisdom and spiritual power. Eagle is the courageous collector of spiritual knowledge. He holds the ability to connect to higher spirit teachers, rising above and beyond the material worlds. Eagle thrives in the realm of spirit, yet remains fixed in the realm of the earth. So what I'm picking up from that is a teacher, a spiritual teacher, and a balanced one that can actually connect the spiritual world to the earthly circumstances. And it may actually be part of the theme of this reading is to connect what's been going on astrally and in the 5D to what is and will manifest in the 3D. He's sharp-sighted and signifies rational thought. Moving gracefully through skies, Eagle will teach you how to conserve and use your own energy wisely. So I feel like this character in this here is somebody that sort of kind of like represents somebody that is caring and conscientious about the earth and the future. And I believe, like, referring back, that is both. I just need to make sure I'm recording. I am. Make sure that that is both in the spiritual realm and higher realms, as well as earthly material manifestations, concerns, doings, etc. So he demonstrates that you can still remain grounded while soaring toward divine wisdom. So I feel like perhaps, and I often, like, my reads will have the theme of divine connections, twin flame journeys, divine counterparts, divine masculine, divine feminine. And so I believe that this story kind of looks like it does relate to that sort of a connection. And I believe that the divine masculine in this is somebody that is in the past been very grounded, but yet recently has had an awakening from this for the spiritual realm, or a heightened sort of connection to the spiritual realm. And so Eagle will assist you in refining your own spiritual power, which will increase your ability to rise above any challenge. And so I feel like also, again, the purpose of the shaman, of the divine connection, masculine or feminine energies or genders, is sort of like a motherly, fatherly type dynamic and connection, and basically with the purpose of bringing in a new heaven and a new earth and influencing and leading the next generations. So the keywords are advice, teaching, learning, seeking a deeper meaning, traditional ritual, initiation, and routine. So as I brought up teacher, I feel like this is a teacher, a leader. I feel like this is traditionally the Hierophant card. And so that's basically the main thought. Underlying energy of this read is the shaman, and with the moon being in reverse, basically the awakening of, the manifestation of authenticity, basically perhaps some corrections of something's gone wrong, perhaps getting on the right track, perhaps something that was left to imagination actually being made a little bit more known. And I'm just not going to really look at that card that's under there, although it is the Nine of Shells in the reverse, meaning like the Nine of Cups, Nine of Water in the reverse. So I just wanted to put these kind of, or maybe I'll tuck it under there. It's an owl, so yet another bird. And so I feel like there's air energy included in this. All the feathers is basically the suit in this deck that represents air energy. So I feel like it's of the consciousness. And the moon, also another bird, it's an owl. And so illumination of things, actual divine wisdom coming into play, things being made known, illusions being broken, false concepts being corrected, perhaps like rumors or attempts to thwart or, spread lies, defame, to get in the way of that divine connection being seen, being overturned, and actually all of that sabotage and whatnot working now for the connection coming together. So up here, the next ones I pulled were the Shadow, 15, self-empowerment and ambition, with the Two of Feathers, which feathers is air and swords, and then also the 10 of Acorns. So acorns is fire in this deck, and I don't feel like I got any crystals. Which crystals is the earth energy? So I've got mostly air and water energy and a little bit of fire energy here. So that would be the 10 of wands, basically. And then the shadow, I don't know exactly which one the shadow relates to in the major arcana, but the shadow's a jackal in this, and it means self-empowerment and ambition. So basically, counterparts, getting brave enough to step up, overcoming a lot of challenges, putting the power in their own hands where it may have been put in the hands of others, having ambition and seeing the purpose of the divine connection and what was fought against so hard, and basically that playing into the next steps, into what needs to be done. Two of feathers, two of swords, decisions and direction. So like I said, a decision being made, overcoming the shadow, overcoming the darkness, making a conscious decision to, now that has been done, it's in the upright. So I feel like it's something that, we're never completely completed, but I feel like it's something that the self-reflection has been done. If the Hierophant card was here, that inward searching the situation, I feel like it's, in a process of completion, having been done, especially with the 10 of Wands right next to it, responsibility and dedication. So taking the responsibility and using the self-empowerment ambition to go into the right direction, into a higher level decision, basically maybe like backing up and taking the other road where there was a fork in the road and a crossroads. There's a lizard, a jackal, and a horse. So the shadow, the clever jackal always finds the tools to unlock trapped energy. So that being released, bondages and binds and ties being removed, false like connections, false, even if it's not in a romantic way, agendas or influences, being seen, made known, overcome. By dancing with his shadow self, he is reborn with new insights and spiritual wisdom. So like I said, having a rebirth. So I was sort of talking about earlier, everyone has a shadow self composed of desires, repressed thoughts, and instincts. So maybe possibly in the past, some of the actions and choices were made more like on a more shallow, sort of like, repressed, instinctual rather than like thought out sort of a decision. Maybe some lustful or some trickery, trapping type energies, being part of what played out. And basically, by accepting all sides of yourself, including anger and fear, you can master your shadow self instead of letting it control you. So possibly like lessons learned, learning lessons through what has been and what is being wrapped up, basically what's, being overcome and hurdled over, and the emotions involved in that, and like, finding the greater meaning in, just the drama, get greater meaning in the drama, basically. You can work both ways, as we know. If you're repressed, the inner fire is extinguished and blockages occur. So removing blockages, extinguishing a house fire. So I feel like house fire is some part of this story, part of the narrative these days. For some of us, divine feminine, that are kind of like in the dark. We don't really know the full extent of it. I don't know if we want to know, but like, I feel like in some senses, some things will have to be made known. But the jackal will guide you to overcoming the illusion of limitations. Self-empowerment is born from action combined with expression. So release yourself from creative restrictions. Imagination is the ultimate power. Again, taking the empowerment and taking the power into his or her own hands, the divine counterpart doing what they can, taking their power back, and making it their choice based on authenticity, self-empowerment, ambition, potential, determination, desire, temptation, and indulgence. So not all temptation is bad. It can be good. So 10 of acorns on the right. 10 of wands. 10 of acorns is, it's a donkey. Responsibility and dedication. Trustful donkey carries the willingness to take on responsibilities. So workhorse, basically, thinking about that, considering that in the connection, what has maybe possibly fallen through and hasn't been a good collaboration, and it does play into romance and work, I believe, when it comes to these higher level commitments and connections. Sorry about the hand thing. I was not too distracting. Sort of a little bit of a preacher girl. I have a degree in theology anyway. So. All right. Well, he personifies determination and bears a deep spiritual dedication to complete tasks. So perhaps their divine purpose being something of a higher level meaning, purpose, and that being seen, and the reason why that the divine connection, the one that was stopped and thwarted, and the one that, was probably meant to be, but everything plays out the way it does for a reason, and all can be worked together for the good. For that, like, just really being seen how the connection actually could produce, the best and bring out the best in both counterparts, and work, really good, like, really solid work situation, business, whatever, like coming out of that, even beyond our imagination, our wildest imagination. So donkey also knows its boundaries. The divines are putting boundaries into place, and that has been part of the process for the last few years, so that they can come together in divine timing. I feel like often the divine masculine, divine feminine, they kind of are in dynamics, family and relationship and whatnot, where sometimes they are graceful, but they end up being the doormat. They end up being walked all over, kind of like sometimes, you know, victims of narcissistic abuse and whatnot. So learning how to set those boundaries so that patterns aren't repeated in the future. He's here to remind you that when obligating yourself to personal endeavors and the demands of others, consider whether you're taking on more than you can handle. When burdened by too many activities at once, perception and creativity can be blocked. So I feel like taking a step back, perhaps like a change of pace, a break, a vacation, and, you know, like that really is going to open up the eyes and the spiritual eyes, the third eye, and you know, for things to be seen, taken at face value, for them to be seen without the distractions, without the pressures, without the outside influences and whatnot. So getting, you know, taking a break from overcommitment, like basically some things maybe having been lost, some projects having been lost, but within that there was too much overcommitment and, you know, the perspective of why things went down or like didn't work out, being seen and made known. Break away from situations that are detrimental to your health. So a breakaway for something that has caused poor health, been draining, has literally caused physical illness. Sometimes when we're just not in our right path, that's just gonna happen anyways, because we know it else, we know deep down, we know subconsciously and in our heart of hearts that something isn't in its right place and something is lacking, and that can manifest in ailments and conditions. So he or she, the divines, are breaking away from situations that have held them back and caused poor health, and they want to dedicate their time and a connection, if that is part of the factor and when that comes into play, and as a tool of personal restoration. And I believe that's going to happen when the divine connections come together, that it's going to just naturally produce restoration for each individual on their own. They're basically going to heal each other, support each other, lift each other up, and restore one another. In clearing away the clutter, you're invited into deeper clarity and joy in your life, in turn bringing back your personal power. So 10 of Wands, ultimate joy, or ultimate happiness, clarity of that being seen, joy unspeakable, and it producing personal power and a level of comfortability where each is able to shine, be open and honest, and not feel like judged by the other, and rather feel supported. They understand one another. So the Two of Feathers, which is Two of Swords, being decisions and direction. And I might not spend as much time reading on some of these, just so I have time to pull some. I only have so much space on my device, and so I have time to pull some oracle cards as well. So Two of Feathers. It's the gecko. Gecko. I'm sorry, I'm a lizard lover. Love me some lizards. And they love me too. I don't know, I talked about in other videos. I had this chameleon at a pet store turn coral orange. I've never even looked one up to see another one that full bright coral color. He was in love with me big time. He wanted me to take him home, and I wish I could have, but I wasn't set up for that. So decisions and direction. Peaceful gecko is adept to moving between the worlds of the subconscious and the conscious. So arrow and swords, you know, cutting through the veil, cutting through dimensions, stepping from, you know, through a portal from one time to another, from one dimension to another dimension. She taps into a balance of forces to clear the mind, bringing truth to light. So for the clarity, she's accustomed to facing fears and is preparing herself to choose her next direction. Conscious choice to move into the place that feels right. Gecko reminds you that you have the power to unleash the energies needed to deliver a clear outcome. So communication is going to come natural. It's going to be possible, and it's going to be easy. Once that first hard step is done, it's going to be easy, and it's going to be natural, and it's going to fall into place, and it's just going to feel right. So speak your truth and do not allow indecision to hold you back. Open your eyes so that you may see your options more clearly. Grandson's here.